Breaking news now, top government sources have revealed that Trudeau was diplomatically given all due protocols and was cleared at the top level from the PMO. This is the pitch that's coming in from top government sources saying that it is Trudeau who is responsible for diplomatic ties taking such a nosedive. Now, government sources reveal that Trudeau was sidelined at home and was under pressure due to various domestic factors. So that's the piece of breaking news that's coming in, where when it comes to Trudeau's position back home, where he is in a coalition government with the NDP, which is a pro-Khalistani party, he is facing that pressure from Khalistani elements back home in Canada. So let's decode for you what top government sources have told CNN News 18, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to the entire diplomatic tussle that is taking place between India and Canada. This is what top government sources have told CNN News 18. Trudeau was given all due protocols in India during the G20 summit when he had those talks with Prime Minister Modi. Remember, Prime Minister Modi also raised the issue of the rise of Khalistani separatists on Canadian soil. Now, top government sources are also telling CNN News 18 that protocols were cleared at the highest level, which is the Prime Minister's office. Also, what we are learning from top government sources is that Trudeau is under pressure due to domestic factors. As I was saying, he's in a coalition government with the NDP, which has a lot of pro-Khalistani elements. Also, within his own government, you have pro-Khalistani ministers. Also, at the end of the day, when it comes to the entire Khalistani vote bank, it is something that Trudeau is pandering to maintain his hold on power in Canada. Trudeau is under pressure due to multiple domestic factors. That is the pitch coming in from top government sources. Also, what we are learning is that Trudeau at the end of the day is facing that kind of pressure because he is under a lot of fire from the opposition, which has projected him as a failed leader because of the gaffes at the G20 summit. I'm joined by my colleague Anand Narasimhan, who's to decode this diplomatic nosedive that has taken place between India and Canada. Anand, when it comes to the Khalistani factor and the politics surrounding Justin Trudeau, this is something that he is doing for political survival at the end of the day, and to him, diplomatic ties, taking a nosedive with India is just, collateral damage.
It's not even collateral damage, it's a desperate attempt. Many believe that he's actually stepped on the axe. The others believe that he's committed political harakiri, and this is nothing short of just calling to account your own time on the chair. But more importantly, as Justin Trudeau arrived at the G20, he was facing tremendous pressure back home. The opposition was paying for him. Things in Canada were spiraling out of control at various levels. Inflation is at an all-time high. The opposition has been asking on a lot of undelivered promises. The management post-COVID under Justin Trudeau, him having to call emergency with the protests. There is a lot of simmering issues across the board which Canadians are raising with Justin Trudeau repeatedly. As far as treatment of Justin Trudeau is concerned, when he came for the G20 summit, well, Bharat gave all leaders top priority, top facilities, and also all protocol was followed for all the G20 leaders or all the invitees who came here, especially the state heads. In fact, there are many who were wowed by the kind of red carpet welcome that they were accorded, Justin Trudeau included. In fact, when his plane developed a technical snag, there was a lot of orchestration. There was dissonance when he went back because of the embarrassment it caused, and the fact that he had to spend nearly 48 hours on Indian soil at a time when the Khalistani factions were active in Canada was further embarrassment. That was not India's fault. It was a technical snag. Fact of the matter is we are given to understand, and our group editor security, Manoj Gupta, getting us these details, that India actually offered him a special plane, a chartered plane, a special plane to ferry him back to Toronto, and he refused. He said he will sit back and wait. Yes, he did not have any other diplomatic meetings, nor did India encourage any further meetings with him. Thereby, he was given the cold shoulder. But he was the one, and his team was the one that refused a special flight back when his own aircraft developed a technical snag. The other part is that Justin Trudeau himself felt slighted when he went back because he was made a mockery of by the media and also by the opposition. Plenty of questions were asked of him, and also those who are the K-leaning leaders within his own party or his allies, the NDP, also pulled him up for not actually raising the entire K issue and the K bogey on the G20 platform, and for failing to do so, and for not looking anywhere. But the fact of the matter is, and this is something which we've put out here at CNN News 18, sources confirmed to us that he did try and reach out to nations like the UK and America to try and help him amplify this entire K bogey around the G20, but he was turned down outright, saying none of this will happen. And that's why perhaps, and also the messaging that went from the Prime Minister Narendra Narendra Modi when he met him on the pull aside that Canada originated K terror and K vandalism should stop, must stop, and this should they have to put a lid on it. And this is something that the NSA, Ajit Doval, had also communicated to the Canadian NSA last month. In the run-up to the G20 when the Canadian NSA had visited Bharat. So these are all aspects. So there is a spin that's being given by the K factions that Trudeau was insulted, he was not treated fairly, etc. All that is rubbish. We treated him as a guest, as we treated all guests. We gave him all priority and even offered him a plane back. He's the one who refused. So they need to ask Trudeau why he did that.
Right, but Anand, when it comes to politics within Canada, do you see this entire pandering to the K lobby a very Trudeau-specific problem, or do you think that are Khalistanis so entrenched into the political system that even if he loses the next election and the Conservatives come to power, they themselves will be pandering to the same lobby?
The next election is 2 years ahead, 2 years away. But either side of the alley, the K factions are well entrenched because they have been entrenched ever since 1985 and before that. If evidences can be removed and there was no reaction or intelligence inputs given by Bharat at that time that this could happen, this tragedy could happen, averted, was ignored. And thereafter there was full attempt, all attempts to try and brush it under the carpet. And the CSIS is allegedly involved in erasing solid audio recordings and data that pointed to that tragedy of IC-182, then you know it's a long-drawn problem. Those elements for the last 2.5, 3 decades have been embedded there. They have slowly also entrenched themselves into the political system. There is a political party now. There are leaders across the aisle who are now with these K sympathizers and these people who have these K antecedents and who also have been cultivated and slowly being developed and co-opted by the ISI to try and push their K2 agenda. And this is all happening from Canada. The other aspect is this entire immigration business. So the Canadian laws have also been used very smartly by these immigration business runners to say that let's call for political asylum and try and amplify this entire menace and portray as if Sikhs are being poorly treated back in India. Right. And a lot of these people post 1984 do not even know the history, don't even know the facts. So all of these aspects come together to try and amplify the problem currently. Justin Trudeau's father was the Prime Minister in 1985, Justin Trudeau now, and through the course of this we have continuously had these issues time and again. But this time, slowly, I think Justin Trudeau has really stirred the pot. Somewhere the Indian authorities believe this also gives them a free hand to go after these K factions because it is Justin Trudeau who dropped the diplomatic niceties first.
Right, but Anand, at the same time, as you're pointing out that both sides of the aisle in Canada are backing these K elements, do you think that Canada is currently sitting on a law and order and security time bomb because of this political patronage?
Ripudaman Singh Malik was one of the two who was acquitted in the Canadian trials of the Kanishk bombings. Hardeep Nijjar was another gun runner gangster. Sukha, who's now been killed, and the Lawrence Bishnoi gang has taken responsibility, is another gangster. Goldie Barar, Lawrence Bishnoi's associate, is operating out of Canada. So you already have a huge network of gangsters. All crime lords and gangsters to evade the law after committing crimes on Indian soil have either via forged passports or seeking political asylum or somewhere gone and become Canadian citizens. So now the Canadian Immigration Department and the Canadian government has to go through a filter and a lens, and they need to perhaps put in more filters to ensure that antisocial elements, wanted criminals, terrorists do not find haven in Canada and do not become Canadian citizens. That's another aspect that the Canadian administration needs to answer. And they also need to now, Justin Trudeau has also opened up another front. He has called out India on basis of credible allegations. Gurpatwant Pannoon is an American citizen who is threatening Canadian citizens and asking them to leave Canada. Will Justin Trudeau take a strong stance, issue a demarche to the American consulate and the American envoy and say an American citizen is threatening my country people? Will he take that position? See, it's all coming apart for Justin Trudeau because he's really opened up a Pandora's box.
Right, but he's bound by political chains, and the question remains that if he loses the next elections, will that case stranglehold go away? Because as Anand is pointing out, it's well entrenched into the Canadian political